Și este un avantaj imens dacă ai pe cineva care poate fi recunoscut ca fiind așa și nu doar în țara ta, ci în întreaga lume. Știi, oamenii nu se schimbă atât de mult. Cred că îi recunosc pe acei oameni al căror angajament a fost constant. Există un moment în fiecare poveste regală în care regulile nu mai sunt scrise cu cerneală și încep să fie scrise în tăcere. O privire peste o masă de banchet, o tiară pusă pe un cap și lăsată ostentativ pe altul. O cerere făcută în spatele ușilor închise ale palatului și respinsă categoric. Acel moment s-a și întâmplat, iar femeia din centrul discuției nu era regele, nu era Catherine, nici măcar Camilla, deși își dorea cu disperare să fie. Era prințesa Anne, dură, neînduplecată, extrem de protectoare față de ceea ce Diana a lăsat în urmă. Și când se pare că Camilla a venit să întrebe, când însăși regina consortă a Angliei ar fi întins mâna spre cea mai încărcată emoționant bijuterie din întreaga colecție regală, prințesa Anne a spus nu printr-o notă, nu cu un decret formal, cu ceva mult mai puternic, genul acela de refuz care nu are nevoie de explicații. Pentru că toți cei din palatul acela știu deja exact de ce. Până la sfârșitul acestui videoclip veți înțelege întreaga poveste din spatele acelei tiare. De unde provine, cine a purtat-o, cui i-a fost refuzată și ce dezvăluie despre arhitectura invizibilă a puterii din interiorul familiei regale britanice în acest moment. Rămâneți cu mine, pentru că asta merge mult mai departe decât bijuteriile. Tiara care poartă o fantomă. Pentru a înțelege de ce contează atât de mult acest moment, trebuie mai întâi să înțelegeți ce este de fapt tiara cu nod Cambridge Lovers și de ce este diferită de orice altă piesă din întreaga colecție regală. Aceasta nu este pur și simplu o diademă frumoasă. Este o mașină a timpului. De fiecare dată când este scoasă din carcasa sa de catifea, poartă cu ea peste un secol de istorie, durere, iubire și așteptări regale. Regina Maria a comandat-o în 1913 de la legendarul bijutier Gerard. 19 lacrimi de perle strălucitoare atârnă suspendate de arcade incrustate cu diamante, fiecare nod sclipind în argint și aur. Regina Maria a conceput-o ca un omagiu adus bunicii sale, prințesa Augusta, ducesă de Cambridge, o femeie pe care o admira profund. Designul original avea deja peste 200 de ani când Regina Maria l-a recreat. Își dorea ceva care să inspire istorie, dar să arate magnific pe o femeie în viață. Timp de decenii, tiara a evoluat discret prin viața regală. Regina Elisabeta a doua a moștenit-o de la bunica sa și a purtat-o cu o autoritate elegantă și relaxată de-a lungul anilor 1950. Apoi s-a estompat, s-a ascuns, a fost rezervat. Și apoi a venit anul 1981. Lady Diana Spencer, tânără, nervoasă, radiantă, s-a căsătorit cu prințul Charles în ceea ce lumea a numit nunta secolului. Regina i-a oferit această tiară cadou de nuntă, iar ceva extraordinar s-a întâmplat. Diana a transformat-o. A purtat tiara cu nodul îndrăgostiților la banchetele de stat, unde i-a eclipsat pe toți ceilalți prezenți în încăpere. She wore it on royal tours to Hong Kong and Saudi Arabia, to diplomatic receptions and parliamentary openings. She wore it with such grace and such unmistakable charisma that the tiara stopped being a royal artifact and became something else entirely. It became Diana. She once laughed that it gave her headaches. It is remarkably heavy, but she kept wearing it anyway because she understood instinctively what the tiara said about her, that she was regal, that she was worthy, that she belonged. When Diana died in that Paris tunnel in August 1997, the Diana Princess of Wales has been killed in a car accident. Diana has been killed, dirty fired, also died, as did. The tiara returned to the royal vault, and there it stayed, untouched, unseen, for 18 long years, as if the palace itself was in mourning, as if no one could quite bring themselves to place it on another woman's head. For nearly 2 decades, the Cambridge lovers' knot sat in silence. And here's the question I want you to sit with as we move forward. In those obsprezet years, was anyone asking to wear it? How the vault actually works. Before we get to the confrontation that shook the palace, you need to understand something that most people get completely wrong about royal jewelry. People imagine the royal jewels as something like a shared wardrobe. Senior royals dipping in and out, borrowing freely, trading pieces like accessories. That is not how it works. Not even close. The British royal jewelry collection is divided into distinct categories, each with its own rules, its own custodians, and its own deeply felt emotional weight. Some pieces are crown property, constitutional heirlooms that belong to the monarchy itself, passing from sovereign to sovereign with the throne. These cannot be sold, gifted, or diverted. They belong to the institution, not the individual. Other pieces are personal property, jewelry owned outright by individual royals, inherited through family lines or purchased privately. These are theirs to do with as they please, and then there is the middle category, the most complicated category, pieces that belong to the reigning monarch and are loaned out to family members for state occasions. The Cambridge lover's knot tiara sits here. It belonged to Queen Elizabeth II. It now belongs to King Charles III. Here is what that means in practice. King Charles has the final authority over who wears it, but that authority is rarely exercised as a direct order. What actually governs tiara choices at the highest levels of the British monarchy is something far more nuanced, far more psychological, and far more interesting than a royal command. It is an understanding. Femeile din familia regală își aleg tiarele în funcție de trei forțe invizibile, ce este potrivit pentru ocazie, ce dictează gustul lor personal și măsacea ai în poziția și în mod crucial, o conștientizare nerostită a pieselor care au o semnificație emoțională pentru anumite persoane, vii și decedate. Nimeni nu emite o notificare prin care să spună să nu se atingă de tiara Dianei. Nu este nevoie ca nimeni să o facă. Geografia emoțională a familiei regale face ca această graniță să fie la fel de clară ca o ușă încuiată. Prințesa Anne nu poate transfera unilateral o tiară Catherinei. Nu o poate împiedica legal pe Camilla să poarte una. Acestea nu sunt puterile ei. Ceea ce are, și aceasta este cheia, este ceva probabil mai puternic decât autoritatea legală, are autoritate morală. Ea are greutatea apropierii de memoria Dianei, are încrederea nerostită a familiei că va păzi cu fervoare anumite lucruri. Și când prințesa Anne vorbește, chiar și pe coridorul unui palat, chiar și într-o conversație liniștită la ceai, oamenii ascultă. Acum întreabă-te, ce anume a cerut Camilla și de ce a refuzat Anne, lumea diademelor Camilei? Să lămurim un lucru înainte de a merge mai departe. Camilei nu-i lipsesc diademe frumoase. Este, din orice punct de vedere obiectiv, una dintre cele mai luxoase femei încoronate din lume. Tiara ei preferată este Greville. Tiara, un model uluitor de fagure de miere cu diamant, creat de Boucheron pentru Dame Margaret Greville, una dintre cele mai celebrate gazde eduardiene din Marea Britanie. Dame Greville a lăsat-o în moștenire reginei mame în 1942, iar în cele din urmă a trecut la Camilla, o poartă constant la dineurile de stat, la deschiderea Parlamentului, la cele mai importante evenimente din calendarul regal. A devenit ușchid în sine, la fel de sinonimă cu Camilla precum nodul îndrăgostiților a fost pentru Diana. Camilla poartă și tiara Deli Durbar, creată pentru regina Maria în 1911. A purtat tiara cu safire belgiene, dezvăluită dramatic la primul banchet de stat al regelui Charles și, cel mai recent, tiara cocoșnic a reginei Alexandra, o bijuterie uimitoare cu peste 400 de diamante, care nu mai fusese văzută public de când regina Elisabeta a fost purtată în 2015. În noiembrie 2025, a prezentat la recepția diplomatică diadema Greville Emerald Cocoșnic, o bijuterie cu o istorie personală profundă, purtată de prințesa Eugenie la propria nuntă din 2018. Camilla nu duce lipsă de bijuterii. Are piese extraordinare, piese rare, piese cu semnificație istorică. Își construiește propria moștenire în materie de tiară cu încredere și rafinament. Așadar, de ce? De ce și-ar dori nodul îndrăgostiților? Aceasta este întrebarea care bântuie această poveste, iar răspunsul e atunci când îl observi, dezvăluie ceva inconfortabil despre dinamica care se desfășoară în acel palat. Some palace insiders suggest it was never truly about the tiara itself. It was about what wearing it would mean. If Camilla, now queen consort, the highest-ranking woman in the land after the king, wore the Cambridge lover's knot in public, it would send a message about ownership, about succession, about who Diana was and who has replaced her. Wearing Diana's tiara would not just be a fashion choice, it would be a statement. And Princess Anne, who watched Diana suffer, who understood what Diana meant to the public, who carries her own complex and deeply private grief about her sister-in-law, was never going to allow that statement to be made. Did Camilla genuinely not see this coming? Or did she ask knowing exactly what the answer would be and expecting to be surprised when someone finally said it out loud? Princess Anne, the Iron Guardian. To understand Princess Anne's role in this story, you have to understand who Princess Anne is. She is 74 years old and has been working in the service of the crown since before most of the world's current celebrities were born. She carries out more royal engagements each year than almost any other member of the family. She does not seek attention. She does not perform emotion. She does not waste words. Princess Anne is the keeper of the old code, the royal who remembers what the institution was before it became a global media spectacle. She was there when Charles and Diana married. She was there when things fell apart. She was there in the terrible days after the Paris crash, when the family was pilloried in the press for its apparent coldness. She has watched the monarchy nearly destroy itself through a failure to understand the public, and she has watched it slowly, painfully rebuild. Her relationship with Diana during their lifetimes was not simple. They came from different worlds, different temperaments. Anne was never effusive. Diana ran on emotion and instinct. But death has a way of clarifying things, and what Princess Anne has become in the years since Diana's death is one of the fiercest protectors of Diana's legacy within the family itself. Not by speaking about it, Anne never speaks publicly about it, but in the choices she makes, in the quiet positions she takes, she has made it clear. Diana's memory is not up for negotiation. When Catherine first began to wear the lover's knot tiara in 2015, there is every reason to believe Anne approved. Catherine was Diana's direct successor as Princess of Wales. The same title, the same role, the same responsibilities. Catherine wearing that tiara was not appropriation, it was continuity. It was right. But Camilla is different. Camilla is the woman who was present during the unraveling of Charles and Diana's marriage. Whatever the legal and ceremonial reality of her position today, the emotional reality for millions of people, and within certain quarters of the palace, has never fully shifted. When Camilla reportedly made her move toward the lover's knot, Princess Anne's answer was the kind of quiet, devastating refusal that only carries weight because of who is delivering it. And Camilla, by all accounts, was furious. Have you ever witnessed someone refuse to back down from a powerful person simply because they knew they were right? Drop it in the comments. Because that is exactly what happened here, Catherine's return and what it meant. While the palace drama was playing out behind closed doors, Catherine was fighting her own battle. In early 2024, the Princess of Wales announced publicly that she had been diagnosed with cancer. The news devastated her supporters and silenced even her critics. For months, she disappeared from public life. No appearances, no photographs, no official engagements. The lover's knot sat in its vault. The world waited. Then came July 2025. At the French state banquet at Windsor Castle, Catherine walked in wearing a crimson Giovanna gown with a sweeping cape. And on her head, glittering under the chandeliers as if it had never been away, the Cambridge lover's knot tiara. The internet did not simply react, it erupted. People wept. Fashion journalists called it one of the defining royal moments of the decade. Brigitte Macron, wife of the French president, was photographed looking at Catherine with undisguised admiration. Every major news outlet in the world ran the image. And what almost every headline instinctively reached for, even the ones that tried not to, was Diana. She looked like Diana. She moved like Diana. And she was wearing Diana's tiara. 2 months later, in September 2025, Catherine wore it again, this time at the U.S. state banquet honoring President Donald Trump. She arrived in a golden lace gown. Trump reportedly said she looked radiant, so healthy and so beautiful. Prince William sat nearby. Queen Camilla was present, Melania Trump was present, and Catherine in Diana's tiara commanded every room. Then, in December 2025, Catherine surprised everyone. At the German state banquet, she debuted Queen Victoria's oriental circlet tiara, rubies and diamonds, unseen in 20 years, beloved by the Queen Mother. It was a statement of range, of confidence, of historical awareness. She was not simply channeling Diana, she was building her own royal identity, reaching back through centuries of royal women and claiming her place among them. This is the Catherine who stood between Camilla's ambitions and Diana's tiara. Nu pentru că a cerut-o, ci pentru că a meritat-o. Privind revenirea Caterinei în 2025, credeți că a depășit acum influența culturală a Dianei sau va deține Diana mereu acel tron? Spuneți-mi în comentarii. Regulile nerostite care conduc monarhia. Există ceva ce monarhia britanică face mai bine decât aproape orice altă instituție de pe pământ. Comunică fără a vorbi. Alegerea unei tiare nu este niciodată doar alegerea unei tiare. Este un mesaj, compus cu grijă, transmis către milioane de oameni care poate nu își dau seama în mod conștient că îl primesc. Când Catherine poartă nodul îndrăgostiților, mesajul este: sunt succesorul Dianei. Îi duc moștenirea cu mândrie și umilință, munca continuă. Când Camilla poartă o piesă vestimentară rară, recent apărută, din cele mai importante părți ale colecției, mesajul este: îmi câștig locul, înțeleg istoria, nu sunt aici să înlocuiesc pe nimeni. Când prințesa Anne își poartă tiara cu diamante, cea pe care i-a fost dăruită în 1973, pe care a purtat-o la evenimente importante timp de peste 50 de ani, mesajul este: sunt constantă, nu fac spectacole, îndur. Acestea nu sunt accidente, sunt o limbă regală, care a fost vorbită și rafinată timp de secole. Regula din jurul tiarei Dianei este probabil cel mai emoționant exemplu al acestei gramatici invizibile. Nu există nicio lege care să o împiedice pe Camilla să solicite acest lucru, nicio clauză constituțională, nicio interdicție formală. În schimb, există o înțelegere colectivă, împărtășită de fiecare membru al familiei regale, de consilierii palatului, de femeile însele, că anumite obiecte au o greutate emoțională ce transcende valoarea lor materială. Nodul îndrăgostiților nu este doar diamante și perle. Este durere și grație și amintirea unei femei care l-a purtat cu un fel de luminozitate sfâșietoare. A o pune pe capul greșit nu ar fi doar o greșeală în materie de modă, ar fi o profanare. Acesta este un lucru care nu poate fi predat, trebuie simțit. Și ceea ce dezvăluie povestea refuzului prințesei Anne este că în interiorul palatului încă există oameni care simt acest lucru, care îl păzesc, care nu vor permite ca nevoia monarhiei de reinventare modernă să doboare adevărul emoțional al propriei istorii. Monarhia funcționează pe baza simbolurilor. Crezi că este un punct forte sau o vulnerabilitate? Mi-ar plăcea să afli părerea ta în comentarii. De ce furia Camillei dezvăluie mai mult decât a intenționat? Hai să vorbim despre furia în sine. Pentru că reacția Camillei la refuzul ei ne spune ceva important. Dacă te simți confortabil în poziția ta, dacă ești sigură pe identitatea și rolul tău, nu te înfurii când ți se spune că nu poți purta o anumită tiară. Ai o colecție de piese extraordinare. You have access to history-making jewelry. You do not need the one piece in the vault that is charged with the most complicated emotional electricity in the entire monarchy, unless the tiara was never really about the tiara. Camilla has spent the last decade working methodically to rehabilitate her public image. The campaign has been, by many measures, successful. She has thrown herself into literacy advocacy, domestic violence awareness, support for military families. She has shown up. She has done the work. She has been patient in a way that many observers did not expect. And with Charles now on the throne, she holds the highest rank a consort can hold. She is queen, not queen consort in a diminished sense, queen. Her name appears on official documents, on ceremonial programs, in formal addresses. And yet, the lover's knot remains out of reach. There is a particular kind of frustration that comes from achieving everything and still being told there is one thing you cannot have. Not because of law, not because of rank, but because of history. Because of a woman who died do as a she opted years ago and whose shadow still stretches across every room in the palace. Camilla's fury, if the reports are accurate, suggests that she has not fully made peace with that shadow. That underneath the carefully managed public narrative of acceptance and reinvention, there is still a part of her that wants the final symbol, the one that would say definitively that she has arrived. But that symbol is not available to her. And Princess Anne, who remembers everything, who forgives carefully and guards fiercely, made sure of it. What do you think Camilla's real motivation was? Is this about the tiara or about something much deeper? Share your thoughts below. What Diana would have thought. This is the question no one can answer. And everyone asks anyway, what would Diana have made of all of this? She would have seen Catherine wearing the lover's knot and felt perhaps something like recognition. Catherine shares Diana's instinct for connection, her ability to make state occasions feel human. She uses her platform to speak about mental health, cancer, early childhood development. She has taken Diana's compassionate approach to royal duty and made it her own. Diana wore the tiara like a crown she had earned. Catherine wears it like a crown she has inherited and is actively working to be worthy of. As for Camilla, Diana was famously devastated by her presence in her marriage. The wounds were real and they were public. But Diana was also, at her core, a woman who believed in moving forward. She said she wanted to be a queen of hearts, not a queen of England. She wanted to change things. She wanted the monarchy to feel the feelings it had so long suppressed. The fact that the lover's knot remains symbolically off limits to Camilla, not by royal decree, but by collective emotional understanding, is perhaps the most Diana thing that could have happened. It is the palace for once honoring feeling over protocol, acknowledging that some things cannot be rewritten simply because circumstances have changed. Diana's tiara is still, in the deepest sense, Diana's, and the people who loved her, who still love her, are making sure that everyone knows it. The future of the lover's knot. Catherine is patruzisi chitre. She is healthy. She is, by all visible evidence, entering the most confident and commanding phase of her public life. She has many years ahead of her as Princess of Wales, and eventually as Queen Consort. The lover's knot will be worn at state banquets, at diplomatic receptions, at the most significant evenings on the royal calendar. Each appearance will generate headlines, each appearance will invoke Diana, and each appearance will also increasingly add Catherine's own chapters to the tiara's story. This is how royal heirlooms work at their most powerful. They are not static. They are not museum pieces. They are living objects that accumulate meaning with every woman who wears them, every occasion they attend, every photograph they appear in. When Catherine eventually becomes Queen Consort, when Prince William ascends to the throne, the question of the lover's knot's future will arise again. Who will become the next Princess of Wales? If Prince George marries, his wife will inherit the title. She may, in time, inherit the tiara. Or it may go to Princess Charlotte, now the only daughter of the heir to the throne. A working royal in the making. A young woman who was already wearing a crystal headpiece that looked remarkably tiara-like at her grandfather's coronation in Doami Doazech Chitre. Charlotte, who carries both Diana's blood and Catherine's raising, who may one day wear the lover's knot as something that is simultaneously inherited and entirely her own. The Spencer tiara, the one Diana wore on her wedding day, will never come to the royal family. It belongs to the Spencer family, kept by Diana's brother Charles Spencer, the new the Earl Spencer. Rumors have circulated for years that Catherine or Charlotte might one day wear it. They will not. The Spencer family has made this clear. That tiara will be worn by future Spencer brides, keeping Diana's pre-royal identity intact, honoring the woman she was before the palace changed her forever. But the lover's knot? That belongs to the monarchy. That belongs to the women who hold the title Diana held. That continues. Who do you think should wear the lover's knot after Catherine? Princess Charlotte? Prince George's future wife? Someone we haven't even thought of yet? Comment below. I read every single one. What this moment means for the monarchy today. Step back from the tiaras for a moment and look at the larger picture. The story of the Cambridge lover's knot, who wears it, who was refused it, who guards it, is a microcosm of everything the British monarchy is navigating right now. It is an institution caught between its past and its future, between the weight of Diana's legacy and the necessity of moving forward, between the formal hierarchy of rank and the informal hierarchy of public affection, between what the law says and what the people feel. In una mia nawa suta noazech shishapte, when Diana died and the royal family appeared unmoved at Balmoral while the nation wept outside Buckingham Palace, the monarchy nearly lost the public entirely. The damage was severe and real. What the royal family learned from that crisis, slowly, painfully, imperfectly, was that symbols matter. That public feeling cannot be overridden by protocol. That the people's relationship with the crown is emotional, not merely constitutional. The choices being made about the lover's knot tiara today show that this lesson has been internalized. Camilla is not wearing it, not because she was formally forbidden, but because she understands that wearing it would undo years of carefully earned goodwill in a single news cycle. Catherine is wearing it because she is Diana's rightful successor, because the public has accepted her in that role, because she wore it first in Dua Mi Cincis Prezeshi after Opsprezesh years of silence, and the world responded with tears. Princess Anne's refusal, quiet, firm, unambiguous, was the palace reminding itself of who it is, what it owes to the past, what it must protect in order to survive. That is not stubbornness, that is wisdom. And in a world where every royal gesture is photographed, analyzed, dissected, and debated across every social media platform within seconds of occurring, the ability to say no, not that, not now, not her, and to make that refusal stick through moral authority alone is one of the most remarkable displays of institutional power you will witness. The Cambridge lover's knot tiara is worth approximately $2.7 million in material terms. Its real value is incalculable. It carries Queen Mary's vision of her grandmother. It carries Queen Elizabeth II's quiet dignity in the una mia nawa suta cincisech sai. It carries Diana Spencer's radiance, her laughter about the headaches it gave her grace under the most public pressure any woman in the world was enduring, her determination to wear it anyway. It now carries Catherine's comeback, Her crimson gown at Windsor Castle in July do me duas et she cinch, her golden lace at the Trump banquet in September, her announcement through the simple act of placing it on her head after her cancer battle that she is still here, still fighting, still carrying the torch. And it carries, in its absence from one particular head, the story of what Princess Anne refused to allow. The story of a family that, for all its dysfunction and drama, still has people within it who will stand quietly in a corridor and say, "Not that one, never that one." The British royal family is many things, imperfect, contradictory, ancient, and modern at once. But in the story of this one tiara, in the nuasprazeke pearl drops and the diamond arches and the lover's knots that give it its name, you see something that transcends all of it. You see the enduring power of a woman who wore it like she was born for it. A woman the world loved so fiercely that nearly 3 decades after her death, her tiara still carries her name, Diana. Always Diana. If this video moved you, if it made you think differently about the monarchy, about symbols, about the invisible rules that govern the most powerful families on earth, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Share it with someone who loves royal history. And tell me in the comments, do you think the monarchy will ever fully step out of Diana's shadow? Or is her shadow ultimately what keeps the whole thing standing? See you in the next one.